guys, welcome back to the Confidence Club Premium membership. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited to share this video with you. Today is all about boundaries, okay? But not in the way that you think. We're not going to take a life coach, dating coach, psychology perspective here. We are taking a law of assumption manifestation perspective here. So, excuse me, let me scooch my chair back so I can get a little more comfy for this one. So when it comes to boundaries, we're taught, oh, you enforce a boundary, you talk about boundaries with other people, you say, you can't treat me this way. No. Boundaries are about you. They're about you, okay? If I don't want to tolerate something in my reality, it's my job to say, that is my boundary, and I do not cross it. Okay, so we're going to take this principle of this is the limit. This can be applied to treatment and relationships. It can be applied to your bank account. It can be applied to your health, okay? I know that when my body reaches a certain weight, when I start to gain weight, okay, and it's like holiday time when I'm posting this, so no shame if you're putting on a few extra pounds over the holidays. It happens to the best of us, okay? But when I see a certain number on the scale, I'm like, that's the boundary. We are not crossing that. We're not going above that. Nope. And that's when I will double down on the reality that I am manifesting, which is whatever my weight loss goal for a long time was 140 pounds, right? So for example, once I got down to 180 pounds, my boundary became 180 pounds. I'm like, even if I don't lose any more weight than this, I'm not ever going to weigh more than 180 pounds. And that to this day is like, that's my limit. If I see 180 on the scale, I'm like, oh, nope, we're doubling down on weight loss manifestation. We are doubling down on physical health manifestation. We are doubling down on 140 pounds being in my mind, imagining the scale in front of me saying 140 pounds. That is my energetic limit. That is my boundary. There is no version of reality where I weigh more than 180 pounds because that's the reality that I chose now. The same goes for money. If you see a certain balance, let's say you get down to $1,000 in your bank account and you're like, no, that's the limit. That's the boundary, right? You're telling yourself, we're not going to go any lower than 1,000. Like that's the lowest of the lowest of the low that I will accept. I will not tolerate going any lower than this. So you enforce this boundary by once you start to get closer to that $1,000 mark in your bank account, you're like, okay, no, now it's time to double down. Now we're going to be affirming. Actually, I always have $2,000 at least in my bank account. Actually, I never have less than $2,000 in my bank account. Actually, like I'm getting another $1,000 deposit next week. Like whatever your goal is, whatever your numbers, you adjust it to fit you, but you create that energetic boundary and you say, I'm not going to go below this. Okay. And then the same goes in relationships. If you're having this dynamic with somebody, you can choose it. You can choose to say, no, I don't tolerate this anymore. I don't tolerate being called that name anymore. I don't tolerate being spoken to this way anymore. I don't tolerate, bare minimum treatment anymore. I don't tolerate, I'm sorry as an apology. I will only accept from now on a full-blown apology with, some people really like to receive gifts when people apologize. I know I'm not really that way, but I know that's a desire out there. No judges here. But yeah, if that's your thing, your new boundary is I'm only accepting a well-written apology or a well-spoken apology and flowers in hand, or whatever the gift is that you want. Those are your energetic boundaries. And what I want you to do is have the self-concept of I'm not going to accept anything less than this boundary. I will not accept anything less than $1,000 in my bank account. I will not accept anything less than, my energetic weight limit of 180 pounds. Like, I know that one's kind of hard to phrase, like I won't accept less than, but like knowing that I will not weigh more than 180 pounds ever again in my lifetime. I will not weigh more than 180 pounds. Like that is my boundary. And just saying, I'm not going to tolerate less than that. That's it. I'm deciding. I'm deciding that I'm the kind of person that never has less than $1,000 in her bank account. I'm deciding that I'm the kind of person that never weighs more than 180 pounds. I'm deciding that I'm the kind of person that gets a well thought out, well expressed apology when somebody I love does something that hurts me. And that's it. And you just decide. And when we create these boundaries, when we create upper limits and lower limits, right? So I don't know that I would want to weigh less than 125 pounds. I know that some people would look good at that weight. I don't know, that feels too small for me. So my energetic limits are 180. I will not weigh more than 180, and I will not weigh less than 125. Anything in between, I'm pretty satisfied with. Of course, I'd love to be closer to the 140 range. That's where I feel really comfortable. I am still like deciding what my ideal weight is. It's more for me now that I've hit 140 pounds that I want to have an ideal physique rather than focusing on the number of the scale. So if I weigh 150, but I have like really nice toned muscles, I'm not going to be complaining, okay? But those are my energetic maximums and minimums. Those are my energetic boundaries. And the same goes for money. So I can't really fathom at this point in my life having more than $20 million. Like, that number still feels like a lot, okay? And I hate to use that, feels like a lot, because that's reinforcing a limiting belief. But 20 million is just like, okay, that's a good amount of money. That is pretty much like the biggest my mind currently can expand to. And I know I'm comfortable with that because in 5 years and 10 years, my relationship with money is going to change and evolve the way that in the last 5-10 years, it has evolved. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that as my energetic maximum. I am open to receiving up to $20 million. And then again, my energetic minimum for my bank account, at least in this example, which doesn't include savings, it doesn't include debts or net worth, it's just my checking. My energetic minimum is if I see anything close to $1,000, I know that triggers something in my brain that goes, okay, what are we going to do now? What are we going to think about now? Who are we going to be now to manifest that number going up, 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 up? Because that is my energetic minimum. I will not live or exist in a reality that goes below the energetic minimum. Now, of course, there's going to be times as you are creating this new self-concept for yourself that you might see less than $1,000. You might see the scale go up over 180. But the important thing is, and this is what we always talk about in manifestation, the most vital thing about that is you need to live in the end of being that person. Even if your account says $7, you need to, in your mind, go, no. I'm someone who never has less than $1,000 in my bank account. That's it. That's what I am choosing. I'm choosing to be that person. I'm choosing to embody that person. I'm choosing to deny what my eyes are telling me. Deny what the circumstances might want me to believe, because I know that those circumstances are just created from me anyways. They're created from past beliefs. They're created from before I decided that this was my new assumption, before I decided that this is who I am. And so I'm just going to accept that. Okay, thanks me from yesterday. Thanks to me from the day before then. Thanks to me from last week and last month and last year, who created the circumstance I'm experiencing now with her beliefs and her thoughts and her assumptions. But this version of me today is choosing to create my reality so that maybe tomorrow is when I see the change. And who cares about the timing? It's not about the timing. It's about enforcing those energetic boundaries. And the way that we do this is we normalize them. We normalize that, okay? When somebody hurts me and they come to apologize, it's normal. To me, it's normal for them to be genuine. I can't imagine a reality where they're not genuine. In my reality that I currently live in, when somebody hurts me, I know that whatever they say or do to make up for them hurting me, it's real. They really mean it. They really do feel guilty or bad for hurting me. They really do wish things had been different. And they really do want to make up for it. They really do want to change their behavior or alter our dynamic for the better. I truly believe that because that's my identity. Before I assumed that identity, though, there were many challenges in my circumstances, but I still chose to be this person. I chose to be the person that people really do care about. That if I care about you and I love you and I'm making an effort for you, that you do the same for me. And that's all I ask. And it doesn't feel unfair, and it doesn't feel unreasonable, and it doesn't feel unrealistic. In fact, it feels very realistic. It feels real to me, even if I don't see it. I'm not saying every single apology I receive is like perfectly well-spoken Shakespearean prose or, poetry. It's just that I know that whatever this person is going to do to make up for how they treated me, it's real and it feels good and it'll make me feel better and I can let it go and I can move past it because I know my subconscious created that situation anyways, right? And the same thing goes for if I see my bank account balance fall below $1,000. I'm like, well, something in my subconscious, something in my thought process and my assumptions and my energetic field created that reality. So do I want to keep living in this reality, or would I rather enforce my energetic boundary? Your homework, of course, is to figure out what these energetic minimums and maximums are for you. Figure out what that looks like for you in your health, in your wealth, and in your relationships. If there is a specific number you have in mind, or if a specific scenario you want to have happen is your standard, define it really specifically, right? My numbers, my finance goals, and my weight goals are very, very specific because they're targeted numbers. However, also, when numbers are not able to be applied to the goal, such as like how people apologize to me, I define it very specifically that their apology is sincere, it's genuine, it's heartfelt, that they really are caring about me, that they really do love me, that they really do want things to get better. So that is how I've defined it. I've made it real for me in my mind, in my heart, in my emotional experience, so that when I think about it, I just affirm all of the goodness. I affirm all of the meaning that's saturated in that assumption that when people apologize to me, it's a profound apology. It's a really deep and meaningful apology. It's not just like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, it's, I'm really sorry that I did that. I was really stressed and, I'm not making excuses, but I was having a hard time and that's why I gave you a hard time and I don't want to do that. So here's what I'm doing about it to correct my behavior. Because that's how I apologize to people. And so, of course, I have that now boundary that if I'm willing to give myself that humility and accountability when I'm apologizing to somebody else, I want them to reciprocate that. So whatever your definition, whatever you need to do to really grasp those energetic maximums and minimums, I highly encourage you to try it and apply it to several parts of your life, because once you become that version of yourself that just knows, I know that this is the least, and I know that this is the most, and I know that I'm not going to tolerate anything else. That is when you see it real. That's when you manifest it into your 3D circumstances. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I love having you all here. And of course, if you do have any questions or if you want me to cover any topics, drop them in the comments below. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.